The end is closer than you think. Are you ready?
Good morning. Today, I'm very proud of myself.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Live from an undisclosed location. Right. This is The Meltdown. And here is your host, Darien Anthony.
Welcome. Money. The good old dollar bill. You need it. You get up to go earn it. You work hard for it. You're so happy when you get it. But sometimes, when you get too much of it, you end up like this guy. I don't know what he's doing here. I think it's some Saturday Night Live thing. I don't know. He's so creepy. Anyways, let's look for a minute at the actual dollar bill. Now, I know many of you don't carry cash, but if you look at the bill, there's Lincoln on the 5. We've got Andrew Jackson on the 20. We got Ben Franklin on the 100. And of course, my personal favorite, Jorge Washington on the 1. His name's George. But let's flip this dollar around for just a moment. Let's start with the things that we don't see. Like the owl. Not that owl. This owl. All right. Did you know that there's a hidden owl on your dollar bill? Did you know that? I mean, I know probably in high school you heard from some friend that there's a owl man in the dollar bill. And there is. There always has been. Like, why? It's like all the people at the top are part of this like Moloch worship thing that they don't think we don't know about. They don't know, like, we know, but we do know. Like, what are you guys doing? Do your research. They're all a part of it. This whole pyramid, secret society, all-seeing eye thing, like we don't know. And they're going to continue doing this. Even if we know or we don't know, it doesn't matter. All of them are a part of it. They are. All right, let's do some headlines. All right. Creepy Cuomo resigned this week. You know, the mainstream media's favorite governor, which now they point their finger and bash at him. He's creepy. I don't want to waste my time with him. Let's go to the next one. Okay. UN calls for code red climate change.
Climate change is now rapid, widespread, and intensifying. That is according to a devastating report by the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which warns that many human-caused effects are now irreversible. The UN Secretary General called the findings a code red for humanity, adding that it must be a death knell for coal and fossil fuels.
It's like none of these people ever read their Bible. We have wildfires across the globe, starting with wildfires in California.
Meanwhile, new developments in our wildfire fight tonight. This is time-lapse video of the Dixie Fire as it burns towards the community of Westwood. Crews say once again they are working quickly to protect more homes and businesses. And the weather, including threats of thunderstorms, has not helped. This fire that PG&E might have sparked all the way back on July 13th, has become the second largest fire in state history. More than 515,000 acres have burned, containment now at 31%. More than 580 homes have been destroyed, hundreds of other structures, and the entire community of Greenville has been lost. More than 14,000 structures remain threatened.
And we have more wildfires across the globe, including Turkey and Greece.
With enormous flames that reach towards the sky and pillars of billowing smoke and ash that follow. The fires on this, the country's second largest island, stretch from coast to coast, helped by bone-dry conditions caused by the most protracted and intense heat wave for 3 decades. Scores of homes and businesses on Evia have been destroyed. Entire forests have been lost. This man tries to extinguish some of the flames as they start to encroach on towns and villages. It's a futile effort, though. The wildfires have been devouring anything in their way. On the ground and in the skies too, firefighters from neighbouring European countries battle to extinguish the blazes. UK firefighters are also heading out to offer whatever help they can.
Well, the images are devastating. And what we'd like to say is that, you know, our sympathies and our thoughts are with the Greek people and our firefighter brothers and sisters in Greece.
As firefighters arrive, islanders depart. Their possible escape routes have been unable to escape the flames, and so under an almost apocalyptic twilight, they flee in boats and ferries, not knowing when or what, if anything, they might one day return to. The scale of the devastation caused, including on the mainland, is becoming clear. This is an area north of the Greek capital of Athens. What were once homes, forests, cars, are now ash. This man's business survived the flames, others were less fortunate.
Πώς ερχόταν και η αστυνομία μας έδιωξε, παιδιά, ήταν ένα πράγμα φοβερό. Δηλαδή εδώ έπρεπε μόνο με φως να κυκλοφορήσεις. Είχε σκοτεινιάσει, είχαν σκοτεινιάσει τα πάντα.
Greek and European officials have blamed these wildfires on climate change. For now, extinguishing the flames is the #1 priority. Only that will halt this trail of destruction, which one Greek official has described as a biblical catastrophe. Mark Malaz, ITV News.
Panic as thousands flee Taliban onslaught in Afghanistan.
The Taliban declared the war in Afghanistan was over on Monday, after they took control of the presidential palace in the capital, Kabul. In a video released from the Taliban in an unidentified location, Deputy Leader Mullah Baradar Akhund made their address.
We congratulate the great victory to the whole Afghan nation, especially to the people of Kabul and to our mujahideens. The way we have come through was unexpected, as we have reached the position which was never expected. But with the help of Allah, that He has given us the victory, and there is nothing like this in history of the world, so we should thank Allah.
It has taken the Taliban just over a week to seize control of the country after a lightning sweep that ended in Kabul. Afghan forces, trained for years and equipped by the US at a cost of billions of dollars, faded away. On Sunday, President Ashraf Ghani fled the country, saying he wanted to avoid bloodshed. Hundreds of Afghans flooded Kabul's airport in the dark, desperate to leave on one of the last commercial flights before US forces took over air traffic control. On Monday, US officials said troops fired in the air to prevent hundreds of civilians from running on the tarmac. A Taliban leader told Reuters that the insurgents were regrouping in different provinces and would wait until foreign forces had left the country before creating a new governance structure. The leader, who requested to be anonymous, said Taliban fighters had been, quote, ordered to allow Afghans to resume daily activities and do nothing to scare civilians. Many Afghans fear the Taliban will return to past harsh practices, imposing Sharia or Islamic religious law. During their rule from 1996 to 2001, women could not work, and punishments included stoning and hanging. The Taliban appears to be trying to project a moderate image in statements and to media outlets. A spokesman told the BBC that women will have access to education and work. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has faced rising domestic criticism after sticking to his predecessor Donald Trump's plan to end America's longest war, launched 2 decades ago. The US ferried embassy staff out by helicopters on Sunday, and the US Pentagon authorized another 1,000 troops to help evacuate US citizens and Afghans who worked for them.
Haiti hit with 7.2 magnitude earthquake, massive devastation. Tsunami threat issued. Haiti was hit with a major 7.2 magnitude earthquake on Saturday, causing homes and other buildings to collapse across the Caribbean country. A tsunami was also issued with waves between 3 and 10 feet above tidal level. And lastly, China is expanding its power. So it's not surprising to any of us that China is doing anything it can from technology, commerce, and the military in order to become the next superpower.
In October last year, China, an authoritarian state, was elected to the United Nations Human Rights Council. It wasn't the first time that China was elected to this position. So far, it has been elected 5 times, even after carrying out human rights violations at an industrial scale. China has kept its seat at the highest human rights body in the world. How did they do it? Clout. In recent years, China has been gaining power in the United Nations system. Now, a report by Indian think tank Gateway House has revealed the extent to which China has spread its tentacles within the United Nations. Take a look at this assessment. China is present at all critical international agencies, not just as a member, but in a leadership position. China holds 4 out of 15 principal agencies of the United Nations. This includes the Food and Agriculture Organization, the Industrial Development Organization, the International Telecommunications Union, and the International Civil Aviation Organization. Chinese deputies are present at 9 out of 15 agencies. This includes the World Bank, the IMF, and UNESCO. Where China cannot get a diplomat in, it influences through agreements, Memorandum of Understanding or MOU. Like for the Belt and Road Initiative, China has signed MOUs with UN agencies, United Nations agencies. What is the need for such agreements? They're like a stamp of approval for China's foreign policy agenda.
Why is China expanding its nuclear arsenal? For decades, China kept a modest stockpile of nuclear warheads, the second smallest out of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. But now, there are signs China is expanding its nuclear-armed intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, that can strike the United States. Recently, this was discovered deep in China's desert.
They are aggressively setting up what seems like more than 100 new missile silos in the western desert of that nation.
The U.S. State Department says the developments signal the rapid growth of China's nuclear arsenal.
The 119 nearly identical construction sites are thought to be underground chambers, similar to existing launch facilities like this one in Inner Mongolia. And if China is adding more than 100 new warheads to its arsenal, this marks a huge change to its nuclear doctrine. Plus, if China wants to join the nuclear arms race now, they're way behind. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, or SIPRI, China's nuclear weapons stockpile stands at 350. Some analysts believe that the silos could be for a Chinese ICBM known as the DF-41, which can carry multiple warheads and reach targets as far away as 15,000 kilometers, meaning they could hit the US within 30 minutes.
The DF-41 is an intercontinental strategic nuclear missile. Its purpose is for both balancing power and securing victory.
So why now? What's behind the expansion? Jeffrey Lewis, an expert on Beijing's nuclear arsenal, said China is expanding its nuclear forces in part to maintain a deterrent that can survive a US first strike in sufficient numbers to defeat US missile defenses. So basically, China wants to make sure that if a nuclear war erupts, it can retaliate. But here's where it gets interesting. These silos could be decoys as part of a so-called shell game. Here's how it works. You build a large number of silos and put weapons in a few of them. Your enemy doesn't know which silos have missiles. Either way, your enemy would have to use their own warheads to destroy every site. That could give China a chance to hit back. It was a tactic originally used by the US against the Soviet Union. Some analysts say that's where China picked it up. But there's also a good chance that China's actually beefing up its nuclear weapons to achieve parity with the US and Russia, especially as China grows bolder in exerting its territorial claims in the South China Sea and Taiwan. A beefed up nuclear arsenal could be the deterrent and insurance policy China needs in a potential showdown.
Now, every country in the South China Sea region uses this 200-mile EEZ threshold to determine its claims. All except China. China argues they have a historical claim to the South China Sea, but countries are starting to defend their claims by increasing troop numbers, weaponizing their territory, and provoking each other.
China has long viewed Taiwan as its lost territory and threatened to unify with it by force.
If China invaded, they should expect the US 7th Fleet to turn up very soon, and that could be a war.
But a day after these reports were released, China denied everything, saying the satellite images are of farm turbines. But the report, which first appeared in the Washington Post, has gained further credibility after the location was found to be in an area China primarily uses as a rocket and satellite launch center. Throughout the Cold War, China had a no first use policy when it came to nuclear weapons. China's military planners felt a small stockpile was enough for defensive purposes. But today's China is very different. It's richer and stronger, and not only thinking defensively, will the restraints that kept the last Cold War cold still work in a new one?
All right, last week we covered former president, future Antichrist, President Obama throwing a maskless birthday party for 645 of his elite friends, none of which cared whether your business is closing or if your kids should wear masks or not, because, you know, they're not going to. Martha's Vineyard is experiencing a 4-month high COVID cases after 74 people tested positive following the president's party. The president called this a scaled-down birthday party. However, the spike comes after 48 individuals tested positive the week before, more than half of whom were, according to the Daily Mail. Singers Erykah Badu and Her posted videos and pictures of Obama letting loose at his scaled-back birthday party. People attended, up to 400 people. It was labeled as hypocrisy at its finest amid the U.S. Delta's surge. Hundreds of guests attended Barack Obama's 60th celebration on Saturday night. The former president was caught on video dancing, maskless, in Martha's Vineyard. And two DJs also managed to share pictures of Martha's Vineyard at the party, including the food, cocktails, specially branded napkins, face masks, and even the toilets were posted to social media. However, none of the pictures show anybody masked. The Secret Service set up a no-fly zone over Barack Obama's $12 million mansion as he and his A-list guests celebrated the former president's 60th birthday party. I'm so tired of saying that. The party drew massive criticism, even though Obama called it scaled back. And the event saw hundreds of people, including famous celebrities, that also performed, including Alicia Keys, who sang Happy Birthday with John Legend. By the end of the night, there's said to be a huge traffic jam right outside the 29-acre estate, with one police officer described the situation as a show. The trimmed-down guest list of close family and friends read more like the attendees' A-list Hollywood award show, including reptilians, Illuminati Freemasons, I added that, like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Gayle King, this creepy dude, and George Clooney. One staff member told the DailyMail.com that 300 to 400 people were actually in attendance. On Friday night, a host of stars who enjoyed a pre-party cocktail gathering at the Wynn Aidud Oceanside Resort, where Obama was pictured chatting with guests as they took in the sweeping ocean views. Oh, how nice. All right. These hypocrites. Sick of them. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe. Hit that bell. Make sure you give your heart and life. Jesus Christ, before it's too late. And is near. Have a great night. Thank you for watching.